Hello! It is literally midnight when I'm recording this video. It is a very exciting week this week. It is the launch of my course, Squarespace Business. For the launch, we do like 2 weeks of a registration period, then we do 3 days of like live trainings and events and a Facebook group, and then we go into the actual course sale. I always do the trainings at the time it's the most convenient for my audience, and my audience is mostly Americans. So that means that 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is 9 p.m. Switzerland time, and then it takes the whole thing takes 2 hours to do the trainings and Q&As and panels and everything. And then I'm just super energized from them and I can't go to sleep. And so, yeah, I figured, you know what? I started filming clips for this vlog this morning. I filmed making my breakfast and going to tennis and everything. But I actually only got around to the talking to the camera bit now, which is fine. So yeah, there is a lot happening right now, which we are going to cover in this video. So yeah, there's a lot of projects happening. One is the launch. That's huge. And I'll tell you more about that because there's some very interesting things going on in that situation. The other thing is I was asked to speak by Squarespace Circle for a Circle Live event, and they want me to speak on content creation that leads to conversions. And I was like, oh yeah, I am down to talk on that topic. I kind of didn't realize how much I knew on the topic until I started talking to the Circle team about it. We did a pre-prep call just the other day with a few of the Circle team members. And yeah, as I was discussing it, and they were asking questions, and I was like, oh no, but I do it this way because of XYZ. It made me realize I guess I've learned a thing or three about content creation in the past 8 years of creating content. And then I'm going on vacation right after this launch, actually. I think I might include potentially, depending on how long this vlog is, I might stick in one day of the vacation into the end of this vlog. We are going to the south of France, which I cannot wait for. We're going in the spring, which I feel is a very good thing because people always plan their Europe trip in July, August, and then every time they're shocked that it's a heat wave and it's so unbearably hot and that there's a million people. And I'm like, that is just Europe in summer. And so we wanted to go to the south of France. We also wanted to go to Greece. And so we're like, you know what? Greece makes sense in high summer because we're just gonna be at a hotel, a large boutique hotel or whatever, which you can just, explore the area. You're not going out and seeing things every day and everything. It's more a relaxing type vacation. Whereas to south of France, there's a lot that we want to see. So that I'm excited to do. And so yeah, excited to bring you for part of that. I'm not going to bring you for the whole vacation. That's the benefit of being a business owner and not an influencer, because I don't need to film my entire life. And that's, great, because that I can imagine is extremely exhausting and kind of turns your free time into your job, which is not great. But I do want to show you some part of it, so I will bring you for a bit of that. But yeah, let's discuss the launch so far, because I think this is very interesting. A lot of people want to, if you're selling any sort of digital product, they think, oh, I just want to do evergreen because launching just sounds exhausting, or everyone talks about launching and how it's so terrible. And I could say, I love launching. I didn't always love launching. If you do it enough times, let's put it this way, if you do it enough times and you organize the whole situation properly, it is not an awful, painful experience. Whereas if you don't, then yeah, it can be absolutely exhausting and overwhelming and feel like you just ran 17 marathons one after the next. I remember the first time I ever launched, I was in Bali actually when I did my first ever launch, which was extra difficult because then I was on the exact opposite time zone of my customers. And I was just running the entire thing myself. And so that was really, and so doing lives and stuff, again, that was tiring. I literally remember on the day after the launch, I was like, I feel like I've been hit by an emotional transport truck. It was brutal. The launch went well and everything, but I still felt like that. So again, it can be a lot, but it can also be super chill. So now the way that we run our launches is I do these 3 days live trainings. We have all of the promo materials planned and prepped and scheduled and ready to go. Also, the other thing is that we just reuse the same stuff every time. We don't change the launch every single time. We rinse and repeat our launches. We do 2 launches a year, or no, we do 4 launches a year of this specific program, which I'm talking about though, Squarespace Business. My main biggest course, I guess you could call it. That one we do twice a year, and we do the same launch again and again and again. And we only change things if something needs to be changed. Today, actually the training topic, which we did, our show up rate to the live today, I think we had about 270 something people there live. which isn't as good as we tend to get on day 1 and day 3. And I realized that maybe like the name of the topic or the training, it was called Skyrocketing Productivity with Processes, which is not the sexiest training name. And so I was like, you know what, maybe I need to change. And we always typically do get less people on like this day of this boot camp and everything to come live. So I realized like, you know what, I might need to give that a little like rebrand of a change of title or something and maybe tweak the content. I think the content is actually incredible, but I might need to tweak the title and then tweak the content to fit the new title. But I still think that the main point of what we talk about on this day is like extremely important. The other thing which was interesting about this launch was that our registrations for the free event were super weird for the first few days. So we have a 2-week period where we have people, we like send everyone to a registration page to like get a free ticket to the event basically. And when we did that, for the first couple days, like my email list, my audience and everything, we're driving a significant portion of the leads. And that like normally we have a bunch of affiliates who help us promote this. And normally they bring in like 60 to 70% of the leads and we're bringing in 30 to 40% of the leads. At the beginning, like we were bringing in significantly more leads. Also, we were bringing in significantly more leads than normal. And I was like, is there something wrong with the tech? So for the first couple days, we were checking like every technical system and making 100% sure. Because I was like, it's very important to me that like people are getting accredited properly and everything. And so yeah, we were like really, I don't want to say crisis management, but like we were on it. We were watching what was happening. We were seeing the numbers and we're like, this is different than normal. We need to triple check. Anyways, turns out I think like we just sent a lot of emails earlier than a lot of affiliates did. Some other affiliates, like they were promoting their own, I don't know, launches or things or whatever, or I don't know, things were happening in their life. And so some of the affiliates only got around to promoting in week 2. And so anyways, there was no technical issue or anything. And we still have brought in an oddly large number of leads, which I would attribute a lot of that to YouTube, which I'm very happy about. I think our team member, Vicky, I think she did, we'll see at the end, like when we do the full like launch debrief, everything, I think she has been using UTM links to better track our traffic so we can know exactly like what came from YouTube, what came from our email list, what came from the blog, what came from, we all know all the specific affiliates as well. We definitely already have that set up, so it should be really interesting. But yeah, so that was a bit of a heart stopper. When things go wrong in a launch, like you just need to be, mostly my day-to-day is like so exceptionally chill. Nothing immediately needs my attention. But if we're running a launch, it's like, I know that there is potentially something happening. Like there's one time I rewrote an entire sales page during a launch. And then this time, like for a couple days, we were like, triple checking every single tech system. So sometimes we have like last minute work in launches, which just means that like we try to not have anything else like important happening in that time, really. I have a few like random projects which I'm working on right now, but again, nothing like essential, nothing time specific or anything. But the launches are definitely a bit of a bomb on my productivity, I would say. I just find the live events, one, I mean, I'm just like thinking about them all day because, you know, it's in my evening. And then the other thing is that we have a Facebook group and I'm loving it and it's so much fun and everything, but it just shows me why I do not have social media normally, because I accomplish like next to nothing in a day during these like live events because I'm just like so distracted going into the Facebook group and looking at comments, looking at people's homework and looking at people's questions and answering things. And so yeah, it's a good, like if I constantly was on social media, I would just never accomplish anything in this business. So it is a really great efficiency hack is to not be on social media. Oh, okay. Let me actually just tell you about what happened this morning and then I should probably go to bed. Or I should probably try going to bed. Might be a while until I can fall asleep. I took my last tennis lesson today before I potentially go play Richard Branson again. So I went to Necker Island a couple years ago for a business trip and I'm going again. I'm doing launch, vacation, and then another trip to Necker Island, which there will be a vlog on that. So subscribe to the channel if you want to see and you want to come to Necker. But anyway, so Richard Branson is a freaking fantastic tennis player. And so I played him. My friend Patricia and I, she was my like roommate on the island and she was just shooting the breeze with him and she was like, yeah, want to play? And he's like, yep, down, come join me at 6 a.m. And so we went down to his tropical tennis courts and played him tennis. And anyways, man has a couple years on me and is also significantly better at tennis. So I mean, he does have 2 tennis instructors and he plays twice a day every day. So, I mean, there's a reason. But anyways, I really want to improve. So for the past few months now, I've actually, since I knew I was going back to Necker and I would probably have the chance to play him again, I was like, I'm gonna practice. So yeah, this morning was my last tennis lesson before I go. I've definitely improved. My trainer, her name is Dominica. She's lovely. She's really fun to hang out with. And yeah, she's definitely taught me plenty of things. And I feel like specifically my stroke, it's like very consistent. Getting myself in the right place is sometimes challenging, but the stroke itself, I feel like has significantly improved since I started working with her. So that's really good. But anyways, I have the gym at 9 a.m. tomorrow, so I actually do need to wake up early tomorrow and not get up at 10 like I did again today. I went to bed at 2 last night because again, these trainings late in the evening, it's hard to make yourself go to sleep after them. Tomorrow's gonna be even worse because right after the 2 hours of like trainings and everything, we have like new students coming in, and that's just so exciting. And yeah, welcoming them and answering questions in our inbox and everything just like it's just a lot of, it's like, I don't know, a couple weeks worth of like customer service inquiries in like one day. And again, I have team to help with all those things, but even still, I just can't help myself from like looking at stuff. But anyways, it's gonna be 2 seconds for you, but for me, it's gonna be tomorrow morning. So yeah, I will see you again tomorrow, and then we'll chat more about the other things, kind of like happening in the business, and maybe I'll show you a little bit about like launch open cart day is like very exciting. Good morning. We have made it to the gym. My tire's in the trunk because I need to get them changed. Yeah. Woke up at like 8 something. I'm not a morning person, and I'm so grateful to have an online job because it allows me to wake up whenever I fancy. And yeah, going to bed at like 1 a.m. and getting up early is not a fun thing. But anyways, let's do a little workout. I'm loving this gym, which I'm going to now, because it is so easy. It's just like I go, how do I say this? I don't need to think about anything. It's just like rinse and repeat. It's like, who's the guy who founded Apple? I have blanking on names and everything this morning. But you know how he always wore a black turtleneck? It was because he had one less decision to make in his life. And the more I could automate and like make things so simplistic, the better, because then I can spend my brain energy, which I clearly don't have a lot of at this moment, on the things which matter, and trying to figure out what the heck I should be doing at the gym, or when I should change up the training plan, or whatever, is not one of those things that I want to spend my life on. And so yeah, I booked this gym. It's like a small group personal training gym. So you show up, they make you a plan, they tell you what to do, they tell you if you're doing it wrong. It's just so easy. I just come 2 days a week. I don't need to think about it. I don't need to plan anything. It's just incredible. So anyways, pro tip, if you haven't already, the more things you can find in your life to just make like rinse and repeat processes that you don't need to think about, that you don't need to plan anything for, that are like super easy to like book in for and everything, the better your productivity. So let's go do a little workout. Gym is done. We're now in the car wash. Hopefully you can hear me okay. I'll have to watch this clip back later and see if you can. The plan for the day is tonight at 9 I have our final training, and our sale actually opens, which is very exciting. Before that, on launch day, I always go to get myself a massage. I tend to have a very like chilled out work day because yeah, I just want to be like mentally and emotionally prepared for the actual training and sale. So I'm going to Hotel Alex, which is this beautiful hotel on Lakeside, and they have this incredible masseuse named Valerie, and so I'm going to get a massage with her. And then I do actually have booked 2 more student success stories. We used to just kind of get student success stories like randomly, and just like it wasn't very organized, and then we actually put like a process behind it and assigned a team member to like be the person to be responsible for like figuring out like organizing getting them basically, because we have so many students. It's like hard to, back in the day I could just like I would just like message with people and I'd say like this happened, and then I'd be like, great, let's do a call. But now it's just like too many people that that's not possible to just organize in that way anymore. So I have two students who are past students who I'm meeting also before live, and those videos will go live on the YouTube channel at some point in the coming months. So yeah, that is basically our game plan and my work schedule for the day, and I'll bring you along with me. Okay, we are ready. It is 8:41 p.m. I go live in 9 minutes. This is what it looks like when I host one of these things. It has not been without its excitement. Thrivecart, which is what we do our payments through, I saw in a Facebook group a bunch of people being like, it's like my customers are trying to pay and it's not working. And they posted a post 3 hours ago being like, hey, sorry, Amazon AWS had some problem, and then that meant that something wasn't working, and we're really sorry. But it's fixed now, so thank God. They fixed it on time. We did set up a backup payment processor for this time, but it's not as ideal as Thrivecart, so that would not be great if that wasn't working. And then my team member, Helen, she lives on an island, and her power went out, so she's hotspotting herself from her phone. She normally is on the live to help, she asked me questions, we have all the questions, there's like a bajillion questions that happen all at once in the chat. She takes the questions, we have another team member who takes the questions, puts them into a Google sheet, and then Helen is kind of the host of the Q&A and asks me the questions. But anyways, that's fine. I've asked myself the questions before and everything, so that's okay. So I'm just asking the person who puts the questions into the Google sheet to kind of highlight the good ones so I can get through, because there's just too many to answer all at once. So anyways, yeah, very exciting. Can't wait. Okay, and that is a wrap. We just finished the live a few minutes ago. I went into the inbox, saw a bajillion names of new students. It was so much fun. I tweaked that presentation just before I did it because I wanted to add more examples. It was about finding clients, and I wanted to kind of I just wanted to add some bits and pieces of things that I've seen in the group during the week. So anyways, added that in. It went really well. I'm very grateful for my team though, because I'm very happy that I am so out of the day-to-day of the actual operations of launch. I used to run these things fully myself. And now, however, we have so many more people who come to these events and everything that's obviously not possible to do as one person anymore. So we have a team of a few people, but there was on the Q&A, there was a few questions that people asked, and I was like, I don't know the answer to that question. I was like, what day and time does the whole launch, the whole sale end? And I was like, I knew roughly. I'm like, it's Tuesday or Wednesday next week, but thankfully my team members know these things and can answer those questions for me. But yeah, so in terms of my job during a launch and my team's job during a launch and everything, so I have a team member who does the customer service and the tech things, another one who helps and assists and manages the affiliates and everything, and then I am responsible for the kind of live sessions and the content of them. And then the chit chat in the Facebook group, though even my team does also help with that too. So yeah, but anyways, we had some really kind words in the chat as well. People had said things like, this is one, a really great offer, and two, also just an example of how you run a flawless launch and put together a really an integrity offer. And I was like, damn, that is so nice. Thank you for saying that. I actually don't know the total number of students yet. It always is just bananas, the inbox. I'm looking at it right now. There are 36 unread emails, which means that we have 36 probably payment things we need to sort out with people. So yeah, that is gonna take some time. I think I need to like drink some water and take a quick walk around my house or something because I'm just really like hyped, very hyped. So anyways, yeah, all in all, very good launch, very exciting. Launch is still going on for a few days and for like a week, but the main portion of my work personally is like hosting the live events and chatting in the Facebook group. And thankfully with the whole like Facebook group and stuff, I can just like do that from my phone for the rest of the week and everything. I will do a few more like kind of like pop-up lives or whatever. There's a few things like topics of conversation which I'm seeing in the Facebook group, which I want to like do some lives on to just like, I don't know, give some education around whatever the other topics are being discussed and stuff. So yeah, we keep the group open for the entire launch and then close up shop on the group, the pop-up group, and the replays and everything on the trainings when we close the course for enrollment. So yeah, that is a launch. It's fun. It's a good time. I really enjoy them. They're exhausting, but also really enjoyable. So yeah, that is all for now. I will see you again tomorrow morning and then I will tell you some other stuff that's happening in the business and everything, but I think my brain, I can't talk anymore. I just spoke for like 2.5 hours straight on that live. Hello and welcome to a few days later. Oh, I think I finished this little last bit talking about launching, it's not that terrible, blah, blah, blah. This has been the most exhausting launch I've had in a long time. Like, I'm not dying or anything, but it's definitely like been more work than average. And when launches aren't going quite as you want them to, that tends to be when they're actually harder and more work. And this one hasn't exactly gone how I wanted. So to give you updates, I don't know exactly, we're maybe 15 sales down on normal, which is not great, but not the end of the world either. And our sale in January actually did even better than normal, like what we expected. So that actual like the revenue thing, we already had like kind of made it up in January. Revenue wise, it's not a problem, but in terms of the work that we had to do to try to like, you know, improve things mid-launch, that was a slight issue. There was a few things now which we've identified. We're about to, in like an hour, do the launch recap call. But a few things that we identified that we had like changed or did differently and didn't do so well. And those things we definitely need to fix before the next one. So just like if something hasn't gone as well, if something didn't convert as well, you need to identify basically whenever a launch is not going exactly as you want to. What you need to do is identify what piece of the like launch wasn't performing as you wanted it to. So in this case, our emails were like slightly less than they should have been. Leads numbers could have been a bit better. The 1 hour offer that we do converted okay, but not like we have had better in the past. So there was a few things that like just looking at the data and looking at the numbers, we're like, okay, we need to look at that and that and that and that for the next one. So in terms of what we've been doing about it, we have made a giant long list of like, we figured out, okay, what is the things that are not hitting the numbers that we want them to? Some things you can't change. Like some things are like, launch is happening, like there's nothing we can do about that. Like number of leads once the launch has started or something. We put a good amount of work into that in like the 2-week period leading up to the launch. Because at the beginning our like affiliate numbers were looking very odd, and so we like really put effort into fixing those. But we got it to a better place, not quite as good as some past ones, but a much better place. But then also say like the 1 hour offer didn't convert as well as I wanted it to, and that's something which like once it's done, it's done. You can't go back and fix that. But we basically identified, myself and my team were like, okay, what are the things that we can do right now? We made a list of about 8 different like projects and tasks that we could do. And that is why like normally when a launch starts, it just like the thing rolls, everything's scheduled, it's all good and easy and it's really not that much work. But when things don't go well and you're changing things and you're fixing things, you're adding like things, then that is when the real work happens. So that is that. We are doing so I'm going on vacation tomorrow, which is not ideal timing to go on vacation like the day after launch. I need to pack. I'm doing a Squarespace Circle live event in a couple hours. and launch is just about to wrap up. We need to do this recap call. So basically I'm going on vacation, and then my two of the team members who would be on that recap call, they're going on vacation. So basically for the next month, one of the main people are out. And so we're like, let's just do this like tonight. So yeah, we're gonna have a fun late evening, which I'm so interested. I really enjoy in terms of what our recap calls entail. It basically entails us getting on a call, looking through the numbers. We have this like giant recap document, and we list all of the things, both the like what went well category and what we could improve on, basically. I do have to say, the one thing which I have been loving so much from this launch, like this has been really exceptional, is the amount of love and thanks and praise that we have gotten for this one. Like I am really touched by the people in this group this time. There was just so much kindness in terms of like, thank you for the content. This is the most like, and I mean, people always say that, but like this has been to like an extreme extent of like people, I don't know, appreciating and just saying how incredible it was and how this event has just given them like so much renewed like life and excitement and like motivation and everything. And so I'm really happy about that. And then also we've had a few students who like, I mean, how often does it happen that someone buys from you and then just sends you an email to like, just like talking about how much something changed their life and how much they're so excited for the future and all of the, and I'm like, wow, that is like, yes, we get some love, but this has been like an extreme amount of that. And so I'd say that has been like, and I don't know why, like, I don't know what was different this one to previous ones, and that has been the response, but I'm very super happy and grateful for it. So I'll take it. But yeah, so in terms of what's happening next, I am doing the recap call with my team. We are doing that for an hour and a half. Then I have the Circle live event where I'm talking about content for conversion. Then after that, I'm getting back on the phone with my team, and then we're gonna finish the recap call. If things go well, the recap call is like, there's a lesser number of things that we need to like fix and think about and everything. If a launch doesn't go as well, then there's more things we need to fix, and then the call definitely goes longer. So I'm like, we're gonna need for sure more than an hour and a half for this one. We like really never do meetings, but the time that we do meetings is after launches. So like once a quarter or once every 6 months, to be honest, is like the number of meetings that we have on this team. And I think I'm personally very happy about it. I also think my team is very happy to not have constant appointments in their lives, and have like so much freedom with their time. But yeah, so anyways, we will actually have a meeting this evening for quite a while, and then I need to pack. So I'll show you the behind the scenes for a little bit of those things. But next I will see you on the drive to France. And no matter what happens at a launch, it's all good. I've gone through enough of these now that like, it's fine. Some go slightly better than you want, some go slightly worse than you want. And at the end of the day, it's not the end of the world as long as you know, have enough business revenue and savings and like overhit your goals typically, then it's all fine. So it's just the emotional aspect, which is not the most fun thing in the world, but also again, not a catastrophe, it's okay. So yeah, that's what's happening here. I'm going to start packing. It is the next morning and we are ready to hit the road. Little lunch stop in Ticino. It's just 2 hours away and it's like a whole nother world. It's so much warmer as well. We made it to the hotel. It's absolutely lovely, beautifully designed. We can't see outside yet, so I'm not sure what kind of a view we have, but hotel looks really amazing. I also didn't realize what a like health wellness type place this was actually. I kind of didn't realize that when I booked it. Now I'm looking at all their details. They have yoga classes, meditation, cardio, mountain biking, and some other bits. Who knew? To be honest, I don't think we're going to be making use of any of that because my husband did some planning of what we're actually going to do over the next few days, and there is a lot to see in the area, so I kind of doubt that we're actually going to get to any of that, unfortunately. I think it is supposed to rain one day, so we might do that one day. But anyways, I think it's time to unpack the bags and head to bed. It was a long, long drive, and driving through Italy and France definitely is a bit more chaotic than in Switzerland, so my husband feels a little stressed out on the driving, so I actually did most of it. A little quick room tour. We have the closet on the left, the toilet in here on the right, our bags. I have to show it to you before we completely destroy the thing. Bed. Again, not sure what the view is. We will see tomorrow. And then really beautiful lighting in here. And a cute, small kitchen area as well. Lovely. Okay, we just had a lovely breakfast and are enjoying the view from this hotel. It is really amazing. That's incredible. That is incredible. It's also thankfully very, very empty because it's April. And so this is not, as you can see, I'm wearing a sweater. It's like not normal South of France attire. But yeah, design on this hotel is fabulous too. Husband is teasing me.
Constant.
We feel like influencers, which is not a good thing. But anyways, let's go. Okay, we just had breakfast and are getting ready quickly before we head out for the day. We wandered around the property this morning. There is a gorgeous view onto the Med, and the hotel design is incredible. I think it's interesting because like the style, the interior style of this hotel is not my style, but because it's done so exceptionally well, I really appreciate it. So I remember I was listening to a video on interior design and the woman was saying that some people are so confused by what is their interior design style because they just are like, oh, I love this and I love this and I love this and I love this, because they go see things on Instagram or Pinterest and it's all just like exceptionally well-designed spaces and they think they love all of it because it's just really well done. But there is a difference between like, what is your design style and just appreciating a really well-designed place. So I feel like this to me, I also was just reading a book on interiors and it was talking about like the essential aspects. I feel like I kind of do this in web design, and that's what I attempt to do for my students, is to help explain what looks good and why. And I was reading this interior design book because I'm about to redo my office. And just kind of like the principles of like, okay, when you have a circular table, you want a circular carpet under it, or you also want to mix materials and you want to mix shapes and you want to mix like heavy items and lighter items and even different colors of wood and everything. And so I feel like as I go through this hotel, having just read that book, I was just identifying at breakfast with my husband. I was like, okay, this is this and this is this and this is why this works. And so I think it's really an interesting thing to learn about. Once we bought a house, I started having quite a bit of interest in interiors, but before that, never really crossed my mind. I guess that's normal though, until you get your own home and have to start decorating. You don't really think so much about that industry, but it's something now which I think back and I'm like, ooh, that would have been a great thing to study or a great job as well. So something which I'm very interested in now, which I never was before. So yeah, the plan for today, we are going into Saint-Tropez. We're going into town. We mostly just want to wander around and see what we see. We have on other days, we have more specific plans if there's different places and everything that we want to see, but I feel like for today, if we just wander in, that is good enough. That is kind of an accomplishment of a day. Today, I think, is going to be some of the best weather. So, yeah. Okay, and a little outfit of the day before we leave. We have a sweater, dress, some little white trainers, and a bag. I can take off this sweater if it gets too hot, because it looks like it's going to be a gorgeous day. just explored the town of Saint-Tropez for about an hour wandering around. There's some lovely shops, some beautiful, beautiful old buildings, which are still sort of have their rustic charm to them, which is lovely. It is definitely, it's funny. I mean, it's funny when you're a tourist and you are annoyed by the other tourists, but yeah, it's busy enough even in April, so I could only imagine in high summer. So worth the come to wander around for an hour, but more than that I probably wouldn't do because it's just a bit much. I think next up we're going to go find a beach club for lunch, and the husband is doing some research to figure out which one we should go to. We were joking, we're curious to see what's more expensive, parking in Zurich or parking in Saint-Tropez. Parking in Zurich for about 3 hours is maybe 20-25 francs, so we will see. Guess how much parking was?
€2.
No, $6.60.
Oh, that's
a really reasonable price.
Better than Zurich.
Yep, better than Zurich. Okay, we are headed somewhere called Tropezina Beach. I'm sure I'm saying that correctly. Okay, finished with lunch. I would definitely recommend that place. It was quite good. The food was fantastic. Our game plan for the rest of the day, we're thinking of heading back to the hotel, hanging out by the pool because it's actually quite warm right now, and potentially, I don't know if the hotel has a tennis court, but if it does, then my husband and I play. He was always better, much better than I was, but I've been taking lessons for the past few months and he has not, so I'm curious to see if I can finally beat him. So that is our game plan for the rest of the afternoon. Okay, we are back where we started at the hotel. Had a nice nap by that pool. I actually have a work call to do, which I am very, very strict normally about work on vacation, and I am very proud of the fact that I'm not one of those business owners who brings my work with me. I frequently do not bring my laptop at all when I go on trips, but this one, it's kind of my own decision if I want to go to it. So one of my mastermind friends, she has just apparently found an amazing use of AI for expediting work in our industry. And so she's going to be running, I think, a program on it at some point. And she wanted to use Mastermind Ladies as a sort of like testing ground for it. And so she offered it for free and in return for like feedback and whatever. But the key was we had to be live on the call, no replay, no watching it later. So I decided I did actually want to go and learn all these things. So that is the call that I'll be on for the next 2 hours from 7 till 9 p.m. So because of that, we are, I think, just gonna get room service tonight. So yeah, I will probably leave the vlog here because you sitting and watching me at a laptop is probably not that interesting, or eating room service. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed coming to the south of France. I hope that was a little nice sneak peek into the area for you if you have not been yet. Definitely very beautiful. Definitely would recommend. I think, yeah, April, May, June, September, October, probably ideal. July, August, I would assume this place is an absolute zoo. The parking, even when we went into the town, was almost full. And again, it's April, so I could only imagine in high summer would be a little difficult. So yeah, the next vlog is going to be so much fun. I'm going to Necker Island and I'll bring you with me for the next one. So do subscribe to the channel if you're not already for that one. It's going to be a very interesting trip. It always is. I've been once before, and it's with my mastermind group, and the ladies are an absolute ball and a riot of a time, and always very interesting business chats and revelations and ideas and lots of talk about AI and Web3 and all of the things. So yeah, and interesting chats and potentially a game or 5 of tennis with Richard, which I'm very much so looking forward to. Him kicking my butt again. But yeah, so that's all for this one. I will also link for you the last vlog right here. I can never remember what the last one is when I go to say these things, but whatever it is, it was really fun. You should definitely watch that one too.